Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I really wanted to speak with you about Owen's behavior in class and his grades.
Thank you for reaching out to schedule this meeting. I've been meaning to contact you as well. I was definitely not pleased when I saw Owen's last report card.
Yes, I think he's capable of doing so much better in my class.
I agree. Does he pay attention when he is in class?
Well, actually, this is one of the biggest reasons I wanted to speak with you. Owen's classroom behavior has really been a problem. He doesn't pay attention when I'm teaching, and he often tries to distract his classmates. I ask him to stop yelling, and this usually gets him to calm down for a few minutes. He becomes a little more focused and less talkative.
That's good, I guess, but I wish he would just behave in the first place.
Yes, I agree. I was thinking he might respond well to a reward. Like 15 extra minutes of recess on Fridays for the entire class for good behavior. I think he might be motivated by this. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. He loves recess.
Also, I offer extra help to students who fall behind in the morning before school. I think Owen would really benefit if he came in for help.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much. I think that would really help him.
It's my pleasure. I want him to succeed, and I know he can do better.
Me too. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in to chat today.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to Miss Lina and my fellow friends. So, before we start, have you ever seen the animation video we gave you before? If so, can you guess what are the topics that we are going to discuss today? Yes, today we will going to discuss working with families. Now, before we dive into this topic, let me introduce you my group members in this week. Our first handsome presenter today is Muhammad Amirul Hafiz, who will talk about the benefits of working together with the family. Next, we will discuss about the challenge of family-teacher collaboration with me, Muhammad Akil Shahmi bin Kamaluddin. Then, we will continue with the title Fostering Cooperation Between Families and Schools, which will be presented by our presenter, which is Yasmin. Next, our rather shy presenter, Nongka Marina, will present about the medium used in communicating with family. And finally, our presenter, Nadia Shahira, will together discussing the family involvement with school. So, without wasting any time, let's go.
Hi, my name is Amirul Hafiz, and I will be talking about the benefits of working closely with families. So the first benefit is knowing about a student's home situation provide insights into the student's classroom behavior. So when we are being a teacher, we might find out that all the students in our classroom have different characteristics and different behavior. And maybe some students or a single student in our classroom might have different behavior which are not normal like the other. Either it be a positive behavior or negative behavior. As a teacher, it is important and it is our responsibilities to be aware with our student behavior. So that's why it is important for a teacher to have an insight about the student's behavior. So then the teachers are able to know what action can be taken when dealing with students' problem. And to have this information, teachers should be working together with the people who are at the home with the students, which is their families. Unlike teachers who have time with students are limited, parents spend most of the time with their children at home. So when the teachers have a good relationship or working well with the families, especially the parents, the teachers and the parents can discuss more about the student behavior at the home. So by doing this, the teachers are able to know the background and understand well the students' behavior in classroom. Some students which getting bad grades in academic due to their parent divorce or having problems at home, and some students who is believed to have anxiety in getting all A's in exam due to the pressure from the parents. So all this behavior, all these student problems can be well understood by the teacher when they are closely working together with the parents. And understand the student problems will help teacher in helping the student to solve the problem and guide to have a better behavior in classroom. So that's one of the benefit in working closely with the families or with the parents. The second benefit is when families understand what teachers are trying to achieve, they can provide valuable support and assistance. Most parents want their children to be succeed in school and will do what they can to help, but they can't do it when they not know what is the teacher's objective. So they need to know what are the teachers trying to achieve and how the teachers is expect the student behave in classroom. So by familiarizing parents with the teachers' curriculum, routines and also policies will minimize the confusion, misinterpretation and also the conflicts between teachers and parents. For example, when teachers are trying to conduct an activities or program for the students, some parents might disagree with the activities due to the misinterpretation of the activities objective. So, if the parents understand well what the teachers are trying to achieve, I believe they will provide valuable support and assistance. Besides that, in context of academic, parents can play an extremely important role. Even they are not familiar with the subject matter, but they can help in monitoring and provide support for their children to achieve the student objective. So, it is believed for the teacher to ensure that the parents are well understand what the teachers are trying to achieve or what the teacher's objective. That's the second benefits in working well with the families. Thirdly, families can help to develop and implement strategies for changing behavior. Studies by Davis and Epstein indicate that parental involvement is most effective when viewed as a partnership between educator and parents. So educator and parents should have a better understanding of effective parental involvement practice in promoting student achievement. So if we look on the example or situation given in the textbook where there are an educator which have a student in his history class who wasn't doing any work at all, but it was the student's senior year and the student just decided to not doing anything anymore, and then the student's parents also didn't have any clue on what to do. So the teachers and the parents decided to meet and work out a plan. So the plan is every Friday morning the parents will call the teachers either their son report was good or not, and if the report was good, so then the student got his car key and got permission to go out, hang out with his friends. But if the report was bad, then there are no weekend for that particular student. So when they applied the plan and the student started to perform, and the student end up with getting B for the history for the year. So from the situation that I told, we can see that it is important to have a good works with families in order to change the student behavior. Parents is the one who are being with the student at home, so by having a hand from them, it is much more better in order to develop the student behavior. Lastly, the benefits of working closely with families is parent volunteers can provide assistance in classroom and school, because schools are almost or always short staffed. So then parents can provide an extra pair of hands, especially in organizing activities for the student, accompany students on a field trip, or even works in libraries or computer center in school. Besides that, Parents also can enrich the curriculum by sharing information about their hobbies, career, travels, and ethnic backgrounds. Moreover, some parents can volunteer in terms of fundraising for an event or promoting the school in the community, and this will give benefit not only for the teachers but also the school. So that's all for benefits of working closely with the families. So I will pass to the next presenter for the next point. Thank you.
Thank you, Amirul. Now, apart from the benefits, of course, there are also challenges in building this relationship between teachers and families. There are two parts that are central to the challenge in family-teachers cooperation. Among them are teacher reluctant to involve families in schooling and parent reluctance to become involved in schooling. Now, let's discuss the issue in teacher reluctance to involve families in schooling first. First of all, we need to know why the issues of teachers not wanting to involve parents in school affairs arise. One of the reasons is due to the lack of confidence in teachers. Most teachers, especially beginning teachers, still lack of knowledge and skills to involve parents in school. Based on an article from Walker and Hoover Dempsey in 2008, most beginning teachers are unsure of how to work with family based on cultures, values, and language. This is also important because Malaysia has many families of different races and backgrounds. So, by overlooking this issue will cause the teachers to lack of self-confidence to contact the students' parents. Next, some teachers also felt that parental involvement was very exhausted and inconvenient. This may be because it requires extra time and extra energy from their teachers. For example, let's say a teacher has 30 students in her class. So, the teachers need to call 30 parents of the students to tell them about their children's progress. If some of their parents do not answer the phone, maybe because they are busy, the teachers need to spend another time to call again. Thus, this excessive work will cause the teacher tired in terms of physical and emotion. In worst case, it can even affect the quality of learning in the classroom. There are also other teachers who use other methods such as prepare materials and lessons, give grades or reviews to the papers so the parents can monitor their children's progress. This will save their time and workload to contact the parents. Furthermore, teacher perception of family also contribute to the reluctance of the teachers to seek parent involvement. This may happen because misunderstanding between teachers and parents that can occur, such as assuming the parents do not care about their child. Some of them also might assume that the parents are too busy with the work's responsibility or care for other family members. Recently, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, Malaysia has introduced a home-based teaching and learning system, or what we call as PDPR, in school education. This PDPR has received various response from parents and teachers as it requires more manpower from them. Some parents are unable to help monitor their children because they are too busy working overtime due to the effects income. There are also parents who are unable to provide technology such as phones or tablets to the children to use in online learning. This issue will cause the teachers to worry that they will burden the parents to spend time dealing with their children's problem. Next, the teachers also want to avoid parents because they worry that the parents might not understand the teacher's role in school. This is often the case because parents sometimes interfere excessively with the duties and jurisdiction of the school in educating children. This also may affect students' emotion because they feel depressed and embarrassed because of the attitude of the parents overreacting in school. As a result, the teachers might wonder whether the parents' volunteers are more a hindrance than a help. There are more reasons for teachers' reluctance to involve parents, such as afraid of losing the authority and the autonomy in the classroom. This is because the parents might blame them for their children's problem, so that's why the teachers sometimes become guarded and protective themselves. Other than that, the teachers also uncertain how to interact with the variety of families. This usually happens with the students who have single-parent household or blended families or foster families. So, We already know the issues that contributes to the teacher's reluctance to involve the parents. Now, how about the parents' reluctance? There are common reasons why family refuse involvement. One of them is obviously due to the lack of time and energy because of the work demand. This usually occurs in low-income families because the parents have to work so hard until they do not have time and energy to monitor their child. For example, most of the parents were affected by COVID-19 made it difficult for them to prepare their children in online learning at home. Moreover, there are also another issues when parents beginning to voice concern or complain and feel burdened by the dumping of the children's schoolwork through online learning. Parents and students feel that homework assignments are more in online learning than a regular school hours. Therefore, because the parents cannot spend time with their children, most of them start to concern that their children might stress due to the large amount of homework. Next, parents are also less involved in secondary schools compared to the primary schools. This is because the parents feel that they can help because they don't know the content. For example, not every parent can help their children solving algebra questions or understanding physics and biology to help their children study. Most of them think that their kids need to be their own and the school should be the kids' responsibilities. This mindset also leads to another reason why the parents do not want to participate, because they think that it is not their role. They believe that the schooling should be left by professionals. Plus, some of them also think that they can support their teachers by not interfering. However, all the families should realize that their participation are valued and important to the teachers. Last but not least, another reason why the parents do not want to involve because of the existence of defensive and uncooperative parents. This always happens in school because some families do not cooperate when the teachers try to discuss their children's problem. Some of them are also too embarrassed to deal with their children's problem. Even worse, there are also cases of parents who do not trust of the teachers compared to the children.
Thank you, presenter. I am Yasmin, and now I will cover on the fostering collaboration between families and school. Family-school collaboration is considered beneficial for our children because it emphasizes the values of school. According to theory of social capital, parent-school involvement increases parent access to social networks and information, as stated by L'Oreal in 1987. There are 6 types of family-school collaboration developed by Joyce Epson as a framework to assist the development of partnerships and strengthen support for learning. The first type is parenting, second, communicating, third, volunteering, fourth, learning at home, fifth, decision making, and lastly, sixth, collaborating with the community. School may use the framework to guide the decision about practice that will help achieve goals and meet the needs of students and families. Each type presents unique opportunities and challenges for expanding the way schools, families, and communities work together. I will cover on the first types of family-school collaboration. Now let us go deeper on the first types of family-school collaboration, which is parenting, in which school assists families in fulfill their basic obligations. First, helping families to fulfill their basic obligations. Families are responsible to provide for their child health and safety, as parents are children's first teacher. School can help families to carry out these basic obligations by providing parents education. It is in line with the No Child Left Behind mandates in 2001 that elementary school give parents the tools they need to support their children's learning at home. Communicate regularly with families about children's academic progress, provide opportunities for family workshop, and offer parent chance to engage in parents' leadership activities at school sites. As a result, this approach indirectly will form relationship with families. It is wonderful to offer emotional supports and share knowledge of child developments, and it is essential to make families partners in guiding their children's education and for healthy child development, as the home environment will shape the attitudes of the students. For example, a school provides a workshop on parenting skills and child rearing skills based on understanding child development. With this, children are less likely to require discipline at school. Second, establishing parent support group. Establishing strong partnership and engagement with parents are important in order for their child to thrive. By joining a parent support group, parents will go beyond supporting their own child and contribute to a larger group of students in school. As parents become involved, they may provide support for children in their academic endeavors. As stated by Grolnick, Daisy, and Ryan in 1997. Grolnick and colleges in 1997 make the case that such support cultivates a sense of relatedness between children and parents. This involvement is initiated by the parents as part of their responsibilities for children's psychosocial and educational development and is likely to influence students' education engagement and performance. With parents and school working hand in hand, they can support each other better to develop their children to be confident and useful citizens of tomorrow. Third, school can refer families to the community or state agencies. Community and state agencies will provide families and children with needed resources and information. Services may focus on the children's development needs. Partnership with family are key to support the best outcome for children and families in the areas of social, emotional, cognitive, language and literacy, and physical well-being. When families feel supported, heard, and integral to their child's teams in an early learning setting, they are more engaged in their children's learning. It supports better overall outcome of the children's school readiness. For example, families can refer to the community or state agencies for an ongoing discussion about their child's overall development and seek for help about concrete ways to encourage children's growth and wellness at home and in their community. All families need support and help at one time or another. Some need more help than others and need it more often. If schools want to help all children succeed, they need to be concerned about meeting the non-academic health and social service needs for the children and families.
So, thank you for passing the mic. So, I will proceed to the next part of this presentation, that is communicating with families. Let me know, communication is really important for everyone. So, here we want to talk about the communication between teachers and families. Communication between teachers and families are important to communicate about school programs and students. And it's also important to communicate with parents in a way that promotes the feeling of partnership. To establish a feeling of partnership with the following communication suggestions. Firstly, electronic communication such as email, text messaging tools, and class website. Secondly, by using a phone calls. Thirdly, by using a face-to-face interaction such as back to school night and also parent-teacher conferences. And lastly, report cards and progress cards. So I will move to the next slide for the further explanation for this communication suggestion. We will move to the first part of the communication, that is electronic communication. The example of electronic communication such as email, social media, and other online tools to facilitate communication with parents. So I will explain detail for the example of electronic communication. So for the first one, for text messaging tools, it was using to communicate with parents because it easily send multiple messages from computers without revealing phone numbers. And then for the second example is email. For email, usually parents will write in messages using email to get the information while teachers will answer the question. Usually, the information that parents want to know is about their students' grade. Last example of the electronic communication is a class website. So, for a class website, we have a few functions that can help a communication between teachers and parents. So, for the first function is it can help in management, which is it can list assignment and due date, then subject for the week, dates for quizzes and tests, and lastly, news about current and upcoming events. And the second function is it can provide links to related websites that might help students to complete assignment. And lastly, it has adapted student information management system, which is it can track attendance, it can record grades, and lastly, it can generate reports. Why it helps communication between teachers and parents? It made easier for the parents to have to know the progress of their children. It also made the teachers' work easy. So next, I will move to the next communication suggestion, that is phone calls. Phone calls usually have used by most of the teachers nowadays. Usually, phone calls are used for a few reasons, such as the children have a problem at school or to tell a good news. So when using a phone call, there are some problems that might face by the teachers, such as there are some parents that do not want to be disturbed at night, and then there are some parents that do not have a phone. So how we can overcome this problem? So firstly, what the teachers can do is let parents know when teachers can receive phone calls during the school day. And then secondly, give parents home phone number. And thirdly, ask students to fill out a card with parents' home and work numbers at the first day of school. And lastly, carefully checking the school personnel records to see which parents should be contacted. So with these ways, we can avoid the problem that we might face. So we move to the next part, that is face-to-face interaction. There are two examples of face-to-face interaction between teachers and parents. There are back to school night and parent-teacher conferences. So let's move to back to school night first. Every school have different ways in conducting back to school night. So here I want to share to you guys some of the ways that have been done by a certain school. So for the first way, it was involved a brief presentation to group of parents who move from room to room. And then secondly, teachers remain at the assigned room for 90 minutes, and then parents visit teachers in any order they wish to have a brief, which is it totally depends on the parents what they want to know. What is the reason for this back to school night is invented? So there is four reasons why this event was invented. So the first one is to attach a face to a name, and secondly is give parents a general sense of their children's progress, and thirdly invite parents to set up a longer conference. This means after the event, the parents can contact teacher anytime. So and fourthly is display current class project. So it means in general the objective for this event is to make a good communication between teachers and parents. So for the next face-to-face interaction is parents-teacher conferences. I think this is very familiar for most of us. So what's mean by parents-teacher conferences? So it means it's a short meeting between parents and teachers to discuss a chart for the progress at school and find solution to academic and behavioral problems. So there are two ways of parents-teacher conferences. So the first way is two-way conferences which involve parents and teachers, which means there's only two person during the conferences. And second ways of conferences is three-ways conferences, which involve parents or guardian, teachers and students. This means it involves three persons during the conference. For your information, for three-ways conferences is rarely done in most of the schools because it has a few cons when applying. But during these conferences, we might have attempts because we are really confronted with the parents. So, how to overcome tense during conferences? So, there are 7 ways that I want to share with you guys to overcome tense during conferences. So, for the first one is leading with something positive. For example, we start with say a good thing about their children, such as your children is really good in the class. Secondly, for problem students, avoid mention negative words but try dealing the problem. This means, for example, we try to ask what is the problem of the children at home. With why we know the problem, we can solve the problem without saying a bad habit of the children to the parents. So for the third one is emphasize the need to listen. This means we allow time for parents to ask questions and express their consent. And then for the third one is make an eye contact with parents, even they use the interpreter. So next, we need to be sensitive to cultural differences in communication style. We have to know that every parent have different background, so they have different communication style. So we have to respect their styles. And the sixth is not closing door for further explanation. This means always open for the parents to have a further meet up after the conferences. So and the lastly is could be conducted in the same range 15 to 20 minutes for every parent. It should be equal between each parents. So now we move to the last part of the communication suggestion, that is report cards and progress cards. Before I proceed to the next part, I want to ask you, what is the relationship between report cards and the parents-teacher conferences? I think all of you know about it. Report cards and progress cards usually show to the parents during the parent-teacher conferences to show the children's progress in school, whether on result, attendance, and their behavior. Like we know, report card is common use in school, but you should know that common cards have a few cons. They are not very informative, which is cannot describe real situation based on the grades. For example, when the student gets an E in the exam, this does not mean the children is lazy. So that is the cons for the report cards. And the second cons is it was timeliness. What's mean by timeliness? It means if we rely on the report cards to communicate with parents about students' progress, 2 months might go past through from the time problem first appears and until the parents learn about it. In conclusion, there are many ways for the communication between teachers and parents for the good sake of their children. So we must apply what is the best for our children or students. So they're all from my part, so I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I am Nadia. So I will proceed the presentation with the family involvement in schools. Okay, here I put a statement where the more involved parents are in their child's education, the more likely the child is to succeed in their school. I think many of you agree with this statement, right? Okay, there is a research that shows parent support is more important to school success than a student's IQ, academic status, or school setting, it is a research from the journal titled Parental Involvement as an Important Factor for Successful Education, which is wrote by Durisic and Bunijevac in 2017. So this show that yes, parents' involvement or family involvement is very important. Okay, now let us look at how can family involve in schools. Okay, first, family can involve in schools by attend a programs. For example, maybe a sports day, a parent-teacher annual meeting, teachers' day, or any other programs that being organized by schools. By attending these kind of programs, it can reduce the gap between the parents and the school's authorities. Okay, second, family also can involve in school by volunteers in classroom and in schools. Okay, how can they be a volunteers? Maybe, for example, either moms or dad of the students at the school is a successful entrepreneur. So the parents can share their expertise or share their career experience to show to the student that everyone can achieve their dreams. Okay, another example, maybe the parents can do a gotong royong, volunteer to do a gotong royong or decorate their child's classroom. So by doing this kind of activities, they also can develop a tolerant value between the students, teachers, and the parents. Besides, involvement of parents also can take place behind the scene through donation. Okay, for example, the parents can do a fundraising or donate a book, donate any equipment or facilities that are needed by the schools. Okay, then we'll continue the presentation with ways to involve parents in school, which is this is the responsible of the teachers or the school's authorities to make the parents involved in schools. Okay, first, the teacher can organize a back to school night where it is a good opportunities to make a direct and in-person appeal for the teachers to explain ways parents can assist their child's studies. Second, the teachers can emails or put a wish list of resources through class website. This wish list mean it is a list that parents may involve in school. For example, the list of a date for report card day or a list of the competition that will be held at school. So by having this kind of wish list through email or through class website, the parents can always be aware with their child's schedule and also their schedule. Okay, and then the third ways on how can school authorities involve parents in school is certain district there has been a little involvement of parents, right, in schools. So how can teacher change this situation is where they can involve and adapt with the community. For example, maybe they can visit the neighborhood or they can attend a feast that being organized by the parents nearby the school. So by involving in the community, the parents can feel comfortable to communicate with the teachers. Okay, how's the information that you guys consume for now? I hope everything is okay. Basically, we are not done yet with the family involvement in schools because now we will see parents of students with special needs on how can they involve in schools. Okay, actually, there is Individuals with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA that stated parents of child with disabilities have a legal mandate to planning their child's education through Individualized Education Program IEP, where this planning will be held through an annual IEP meeting. Okay, in this meeting, the school authorities or the teachers can tell the parents that, for example, IEP stated that the student with disabilities can have more time for tests. Maybe the parents also can share the best way or technique on how to control or to convince their children with disabilities, so that the teacher can understand how the student react with certain things. Okay. Besides, another ways on how parents of students with special needs can involve in school is the teachers can invite the student's family to create a portfolio information about their child's. For example, maybe they can share about the students' out of school behaviors, students' interests, and also their dreams. Okay, we are done with the family involvement in school. Okay, now I will explain on family involvement in learning activities at home. Okay, basically there is a research show that more than 86.64% of a child's waking learning hours are spent out of schools, primarily at home. But this research is wrote by Wary in the article titled "The Influence of Home on School Success." Basically, this statement show that there is more total hours spent out of schools compared to the total hours spent in schools. So this we can relate where family involvement at home very much crucial compared to the involvement of students and teachers at the schools. Okay, next we will see on how can family involvement can occur at home. Okay, first, the parents can help the student with their homework. Maybe the parents can checking, for example, parents can checking the spelling of their kids' papers, whereby by helping them doing this homework, the student will feel like they get an adequate attention or enough attention from their parents, right? Okay, another second step is family can provide support and encouragement. In my opinion, this is the most important things that parents have to do to make sure that to help their children's education, where they have to provide enough support and engagement. Maybe they can ask about their child's day, or ask, have you done with your homework, have you finished your homework, stuff like that. It's very important for child's development. Okay, and the third way, or the third step, family can involve in schools by provide a good and convenient study setting, where the family can help in the arranging environment of their studies area. Maybe the parents can provide a quiet area, provide a complete stationaries or reference books, where these kind of things can make the students eager to study, since they are comfortable, there is a convenience environment for them to study. Okay, so after we have explored the family involvement in schools and family involvement at home, so we will see what is the benefit or what is the effect when parents are involved in the child's or in the students' learning activities. Okay, first, children can get higher grades and test score. Second, children can have better attitudes and behaviors. And the third, children can complete more homework. This is because when the parents or the family involved helping them in their studies, they can develop a discipline value and they can feel more responsibilities. That is very important for them to do well, to perform well in their studies. Okay, so I think that's it for my part for the family involvement in schools and for family involvement in learning activities. So that's all from me. Thank you.
As a conclusion, in the challenge of families-teachers collaboration, we already discussed in depth about two main reasons of this issue, which is cause of the teachers' reluctance and the cause of the families' reluctance. To be summarized, every party has their own challenge and own problem to deal with. To resolve this students' problem, the parents must work collaboratively with the teachers. Meanwhile, the teachers too must be showing their empathy and understanding of the parents who are also dealing with their own issues.
School can take responsibilities to assist families in carrying out their basic obligations by providing parents education, establishing parent supports, and referring families to the community and state agencies. In fact, a major reason that parents' involvement has been considered beneficial for children's achievements is that it emphasizes on the value of schools to the children, as stated by Epson in 1998 and Taylor in 2004.
Okay, let's us recap back on the family involvement in schools, where I have mentioned before about how can family involve in schools, and then ways to involve parents in schools, and how can parents with students that have special needs can involve in schools. And then the second part is where I touch on family involvement in learning activities at home. Okay, there is also a step on how can family involve at home, which is there are 3 steps. They can help with students' homework, they can provide support and encouragement, and they can provide a good study settings. And then also covers on the benefits of the benefits to students when the family involved with their studies in schools and at home.